The winter storm arrived early that year in Connecticut. Snow hammered the quiet neighborhoods of Newtown, and the wind howled like something alive. People rushed home. Everyone except Helle Crafts, a 39-year-old flight attendant known for her bright smile and quiet strength. She had survived countless storms in the skies, but this time she was facing one on the ground, deep within her own home. And by morning she would be gone. Helle Crafts had married Richard Crafts, a former Marine and airline pilot. To outsiders, they looked like the picture of a successful American family. 3 children, 2 steady careers, a nice home. But behind closed doors, the marriage had become icy. Helle had suspicions. Late-night phone calls, unexplained absences. Receipts for hotel rooms she'd never seen. Then she hired a private investigator, just to be sure. The truth shattered her. Richard was having an affair. A long-term one. And worse, he had been planning something. Changing bank accounts, buying equipment he couldn't explain, hiding money. Helle told multiple friends one chilling sentence. "If something happens to me, don't assume it was an accident." The snowstorm hit hard that night. Visibility was low. Emergency services were overwhelmed. And Richard Crafts claimed his wife was simply gone. He told different people different stories. She went to Denmark to visit family. She went to stay with a friend. She left because of marital issues. But none of these stories matched. None made sense. And none were true. Helle had never arrived anywhere. What Richard didn't expect was that Helle's co-workers and friends cared deeply about her. She was loved, respected, and known for being responsible. She would never disappear without a word. So they pushed, and pushed hard. Detectives began digging, slowly at first, then with urgency. Every piece of Richard's story cracked under pressure. There were strange purchases. A chest freezer, new bedding, and, most chilling, a rental receipt for a commercial wood chipper. And then came the biggest red flag. Richard had used his credit card to rent the wood chipper during the storm, when he claimed to be home. Investigators widened their search area. What they found would become one of the most haunting discoveries in U.S. criminal history. Along the banks of the Housatonic River, frozen, gray, and silent, detectives found blue fibers, matching Helle's flight attendant uniform. Human hair fragments. A piece of a fingernail. Bone shards so small they were almost unrecognizable. Then, the single piece that would change everything. Human tooth. Not just any tooth. One that could be positively identified using Helle's dental records. This would become the cornerstone of the case. For the first time in Connecticut history, investigators were building a murder case without a body. Experts pieced together the horrifying chain of events. Not with gore, but with chilling logic. They believed Richard had acted on the one night. He thought no one would look for her. The snowstorm gave him cover. The equipment gave him means. And his crumbling marriage gave him a motive. But the investigators needed more. Something solid. Something undeniable. So they turned to the rental equipment. An unlikely witness emerged. A local snowplow driver. He remembered something odd that night. A truck parked near the river, a man feeding something into a wood chipper. And the snow blowing not white, but almost pink. He didn't understand what he was seeing at the time. But now, he knew exactly what it had been. This testimony gave the case its spine. Prosecutors faced an enormous challenge. There was no full body, no confession, no eyewitness to the act. But they had evidence of an affair. Motive. The equipment. The river remains. Tooth. The plow driver. The forensic reconstruction. And a marriage full of warnings. The courtroom was packed every day. People were desperate to understand how a man could do something so cold, so meticulous, so unthinkable. After an emotional trial, filled with tension, scientific testimony, and devastating details, the jury delivered their verdict. Guilty. Richard Crafts became the first person in Connecticut convicted of murder without a body. Helle Crafts was more than a victim. She was a mother, a friend, a woman who saw danger approaching and tried to protect herself. Even in death, she refused to disappear. Her single tooth, small, unbreakable, became her voice. Today, her case is taught in law schools and forensic programs around the world as an example of determination and justice when evidence seems impossible. And her story is remembered not for how she died, but for how hard people fought to bring her truth into the light. If you find this video interesting, do well to subscribe to my channel.